Stuttering in the country may be 1 to 2% of the population. If there are 280 people, so it's maybe 5 or 6 million people stuttering, actually stuttering, with the eyes turned down or the face distorted or the mind thinking before it speaks to say the word, how to say the word, fearing sounds. Those are really stutterers. And the problem is that if you are a real stutterer, you do have a problem in communicating. And that usually starts between the ages of 3 and 7. But let's move on from there and come back to the real stutterers and talk about secret stutterers. Secret stutterers, I believe, are everywhere about us. They're not aliens from outer space. These are real demons that we hide within ourselves. Join with me. The demons that we believe that when we talk and repeat, when we repeat like that or hesitate or prolongate, maybe, we believe those baubles are a sign of stuttering. Let me reassure you, it's not stuttering. Stuttering is when you motorboat the sound, when you machine gun the sound. My. When I say my name, that's bobbling. That's normal hesitation and repetition. When I do that, that's a normal pause, a vocal pause. That's very normal. Many of us do that. We also have runners. We begin our speech by saying, well. We begin our speech by saying, you know, or I mean, or you know what I mean, or I mean and you know. We use a lot of runners. Those are called runners. We use look. We look. We say listen. Those are very normal runners. Many of us use that. We're not stutterers. But secret stutterers believe they may be using that to cover themselves and their deficiency in speech. Not so. It's very normal to do so. The difference between a normal speech pattern and an abnormal one is this. The abnormal one curls the lips and the tongue and gets the person to think of the sounds well in advance of saying the sound. So in their mind's eye, they have a teleprompter thinking of sounds they fear they can't say. There are sounds we all have trouble with, aluminum, statistics, and so forth. Those are normal, difficult sounds. But we fail to realize that we also have problems with normal speech. And it's very normal to bobble, to hesitate, to repeat, to prolongate, to say ah, to say well, to wave our hands around. There are people who can't talk without waving their hands around. They wave it this way and that way, and you watch them. If you hold their hands, they can't talk. They are very expressive with their hands. And many of us are very expressive with our bobbling. Well, maybe, you know, Woody Allen, of course, is a great example. Yeah, maybe. And then there are those who are very, very down in speech. They're witty and outgoing, such as Henry Kissinger. I feel that the situation that bad, and they talk like that. They're perfectly normal. They just misuse the voice, in my opinion, and they needn't do that. But Woody Allen is not a stutterer, and if you listen to him, and you happen to be a stutterer, you may think Woody Allen is a form of a stutter. He's very normal in his speech. He just bobbles a great deal. A number of us bobble a great deal, but we're not stutterers. And some of those who bobble a great deal, all too often, all too many, believe they are secret stutterers. Do you believe you're a secret stutterer, that you really in your heart believe that you stutter and you know it and somebody's going to find you out, and what will that say about you? So you don't speak that much and you're very concerned and your personality is affected, and psychologically and emotionally you're affected. Think about it. Secret stutterers are all about us. It's almost as good as the conspiracy theories about us. They're all about us. And of course we know that bobbling, if you're a stutterer, is abnormal. It's like an alien from outer space. It's something that you shouldn't do. you shouldn't have. It's perfectly normal. I'll bet you that if aliens ever come down from outer space, they'll be just like us, babbling. They won't be robots. Because if they're out of space and they've survived, they had to have normal speech. Normal speech has bobbles galore. Just listen to people talk on radio. Not on scripted material, not news anchors. Those people have rehearsed the material. I do want to tell you about a young man who thought that normal speech was perfect and found out it wasn't, and it helped him to become, like you and me, bobblers of the world. Join with me. The young man was a severe stutterer, couldn't take public speaking in college. He dropped out, and his father referred him to me, and he was severe, couldn't talk. Step by step, I removed that severe stuttering and got him to bobble very, very, very easily, and then cut back on the bobbling, the extent of it, gradually until he could talk like this. And one day he told me he wanted to go to see a show. He was a young man, the Happy Day set, and I was a consultant on that program for a while, so I took him to the show, and Jerry Paris was the director, and Paris said, "Sure, you can bring the young man." And he noticed that there was one montage, that's a take of a scene, was done 16 times, 2 or 3 minute segment of the show, the Happy Day set, 16 times, because the actors couldn't get it straight. Ron Howard, the Fonz, the lady, Tom Bosley, they couldn't get it straight, and they would bobble and mess it up, and so the director would have them redo the scene from different angles and try to get them to say it without any bobbling at all. And finally they did it on the 16th take. The young man, after the segment was done, thanked the actors for trying to make him feel better, because he knew that bobbling wasn't normal. And they couldn't understand what he was talking about. He thought that they were doing that performance in part for him, which of course is very interesting. And he learned a great deal after that, because if they bobbled, then he could bobble. It is normal to bobble, he found out. But the original point of view he had is that when he heard people on radio, such as anchors, he thought that normal speech was perfect. He had to relearn that concept and change the concept to realize the anchors rehearsed their speech over and over and over until they took the bobbles, the hesitations, and the prolongations out. There's a very interesting story about Barbra Streisand. She did a record album, and they took out her bobbles, and it was in the newspaper item where she had them put the bobbles back because she wanted normal speech, not perfect, clean speech. There is no such thing as perfect, clean speech. It's edited out. But when the people are doing the presentation or talking in public, they bobble. We all bobble. But if you edit stuff, you can edit out the bobbles, and the stutterers have the feeling that speech is perfect. Secret stutterers believe, as the stutterers do, that speech is perfect. Isn't that interesting? If you listen to anybody talk, if you listen to me when I'm off the set, when I'm in the gym, when I was playing basketball or swimming, when I'm working out at the Y, I bobble, I hesitate, I repeat, I prolongate. I'm not perfect. I don't try to be perfect. I know that there is no such thing as perfection. You can try to be better than you are, but you can never be perfect in speech, because speech is imperfect. There are no perfect speakers. And that's what the secret stutterers and the real stutterers have to get across. And when they learn that, it's shocking, because their image from childhood, real stutterers, are that speech is fluid, fluent, perfect. There are no breaks, no hesitations, no prolongations. Doesn't that strike a bell or hit a nerve? Aren't you amazed to find out, when you think about it, when you consider it, speech is imperfect, and that stutter